Hey Lindsay, this is Mrs. Scoglin. Just wanted to give you some feedback on your summer assignment. So we're mostly going to be talking through chapter 7 since that was the question you starred, but I'll kind of reference some other things as we're going as well. Okay, so to start off, the first thing I always look for in your topic sentence, which is your first sentence, is that it answers the question provided and sort of like previews what's going to come in the paragraph. So I definitely think you have these topic sentences, Lindsay, and I love that you, I definitely think do reference the question, like you talk about why empathy is important in especially the medical profession. My thing is, we do want to get this down to one sentence so that it's concise and that I have a clear answer to the question right off the bat. So I think you could maybe just clean some of those up a little bit. The next thing I look at is your concluding sentence, and I'm actually going to skip down to, I think, another paragraph. Yeah. In several of your other paragraphs, Lindsay, I noticed that you have evidence that's ending the paragraph and not like a clear concluding sentence. So that would be a good revision to go back and make. And what we want it to do is really clearly tie back to the question so that your reader knows, like, okay, this is definitely the end, right? Next, I looked at evidence, and I thought you did a good job, and I need to actually put this on here, sorry, a good job selecting evidence. I thought you always picked quotes that really gave you some things to talk about, so that was great. The issue is what we call embedding or integrating. So a lot of times, Lindsay, you have just like the quote sort of hanging out as a sentence on its own. And since this is your writing, we want it to ideally be embedded or integrated with kind of an introduction of your own. So even if you just said like, Pink explains that the scientific method isn't or whatever, but we just want your writing to at least lead off the quote. Okay, so that's something we could go back and revise as well. Next, I looked at commentary. I thought you have just really awesome commentary throughout, Lindsay. I love that you, and this is one of the few people I've given this comment to, you don't ever just like summarize the quote or just like talk directly about what the quote is talking about. You always gave some kind of example, and I saw that in several of your paragraphs, and I thought that that really elevated your commentary and helped to explain why you picked this quote to answer the question. So really good job there. Just a couple last things. On conventions, I did want to point out that I noticed a lot of you or like other personal pronouns. And when you're talking about a direct experience you have had, that's fine. But a lot of these I think we could rephrase to be a little more formal. So like instead of if you're in pain, maybe if someone is in pain. That just is going to elevate the formality a little bit. And then in-text citations, we don't ever end the quote with punctuation. It just goes right into the citation and the punctuation's at the end. So just kind of a little detail to fix. Lastly, I thought your R-directed activities looked really good. And I was going to talk about the letter that you wrote to me. I enjoyed reading this and reading a lot of your work. It just had a lot of your personality, which I thought was fun. Totally agree with you that some parts of it are getting a little bit old, and that was something that the sophomore teachers talked about when we picked this book, actually. So I think it'll be interesting for you as we continue to work with the book and do a project to think about which pieces of Pink's book, you know, now that it's over 10 years old, have actually come true, which pieces have maybe taken a different direction. So I would just encourage you to kind of think about that. But anyway, just wanted to give you some feedback.